What if the dumbest person in the room was the only one telling the truth? What if the one everyone laughed at was the only one truly awake? This is the story of the fool, the most misunderstood, most dismissed, and secretly most powerful figure in all of human history. And by the end of this video, you may start to wonder whether you've been playing the wrong role your entire life. Picture your average Tuesday. You wake up to an alarm you hate. You commute with your face buried in a screen. You sit in a chair for 8 hours, producing things you'll forget by Friday. You come home too exhausted to feel anything. Then, you do it all over again. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you laughed so hard your stomach hurt? When did you last do something purely because it felt alive, not because it was productive? Somewhere between childhood and adulthood, we made a trade. We gave away our spontaneity, our wonder, our willingness to look ridiculous. And in exchange, we got a calendar full of obligations and a very serious face. We were told to grow up, to be responsible, to stop playing around. But nobody told us what we were giving up. We were giving up the fool. And here's the disturbing part. A life without the fool isn't a mature life. It's a dead one. Let's go back to the beginning. The word fool comes from the Latin follus, meaning a pair of bellows, an instrument that expels empty air, empty-headed, lightweight, full of nothing. But here's what's interesting about a bellows. It's also the thing that breathes oxygen into a dying fire. Without it, the flame goes out. The fool, it turns out, is the one who keeps us burning. In 1511, the Dutch philosopher Erasmus published a book called In Praise of Folly. It was an instant sensation. Erasmus wrote it as a satirical speech, delivered by Folly herself, a goddess who argues that the entire world runs on her power. She says, friendships only survive because we overlook each other's flaws. That's folly. Marriages work because we romanticize people who are objectively quite flawed. Also, folly. Scholars spend their entire lives producing books that 3 people will read. Magnificent, grandiose folly. But Erasmus wasn't mocking these people. He was pointing at something deeper, that the illusions, the games, the emotional leaps of faith we take with each other are not weaknesses. They are the very things that make life worth living. The fool is not the opposite of wisdom. In medieval Europe, there was one person in the entire royal court who could speak the truth to the king without losing their head. Not the generals, not the priests, not the advisors. The fool. The court jester was the most politically dangerous person in the palace, and everyone pretended he wasn't. He wore ridiculous clothes, he played the idiot, he made everyone laugh. And then, tucked inside the joke, wrapped in a punchline, disguised as entertainment, he said the thing no one else dared to say. This is what Søren Kierkegaard, the great Danish philosopher, was pointing at when he wrote about a clown who ran out of a burning theater to warn the audience. They laughed. They applauded. They thought it was part of the show. The building burned down. The fool was right. The serious people were dead wrong. This is the paradox at the heart of the fool archetype. The one wearing the mask of stupidity is often the only one who sees clearly. The one everyone dismisses is often the one speaking the only truth in the room. Think of your own life. How many times have you had a thought that felt true, maybe even urgent, and then swallowed it because you were afraid of looking ridiculous? That was the fool inside you, trying to speak, and you silenced him. The greatest fool in Western philosophy is Socrates. He wandered Athens in dirty clothes, barefoot, asking everyone questions. He had no school, no books, no polished arguments. He just asked, again and again. And in asking, he did something devastating. He revealed that the people who believed themselves most wise, the politicians, the generals, the philosophers, knew almost nothing. His method was foolishness as a weapon. His genius was pretending not to have any. And they killed him for it. Centuries later, Dostoevsky tried to answer one of the most haunting questions in literature. What would happen if a truly good, truly innocent person walked into modern society? His answer was Prince Mishkin, the hero of The Idiot. A man returned from a sanatorium who has been treated for epilepsy and what his era called idiocy. He walks into the corrupt, status-obsessed, money-hungry world of St. Petersburg, and he just is kind. He says what he thinks. He loves without condition. He sees through every social performance without even trying. And everyone calls him an idiot. But here's what Dostoevsky understood that we keep forgetting. In a world built on pretense, authenticity looks like madness. In a culture that rewards cynicism, genuine warmth looks like stupidity. The fool isn't the one who doesn't understand the game. The fool is the one who refuses to play it. But the fool has a shadow side. In the 1600s, Miguel de Cervantes wrote what many consider the first modern novel, Don Quixote. A man who reads too many books about knights and chivalry, loses his grip on reality, and rides out to become a hero in a world that has no more heroes. He fights windmills, believing them to be giants. He turns a peasant woman into a princess. He turns every setback into a noble quest. It's magnificent, it's tragic, and it's a warning. Because the fool, when he refuses to ever look where he's going, when the playfulness becomes delusion and the wonder becomes denial, doesn't just fall off a cliff. He pulls other people off with him. Don Quixote's adventures don't just fail. They actively harm the people he's trying to help. His good intentions, filtered through his broken perception of reality, become a kind of violence. At the end, Quixote wakes from his madness and realizes the life he led was an illusion. He dies shortly after. As Cervantes puts it, he died from an overdose of reality. This is the question the fool forces us to answer. How much illusion does a life need to be livable? And how much truth can a person bear before the light blinds them? In tarot, the fool is card number 0. Not 1, not last. 0. 0 is before the beginning. 0 is pure potential. 0 is the moment just before the first word of the story is written. The fool stands at the edge of a cliff, looking up at the sky, completely unbothered by the fact that he is one step away from falling. He carries only a small bundle. He holds a white rose. Innocence, openness, the willingness to begin. The entire journey of the tarot, 22 cards representing every stage of human experience,
begins with the fool and ends with the world. Wholeness, completion. The fool doesn't just start the journey. The fool is the journey. Because every great thing you've ever done in your life, every relationship, every leap of faith, every new beginning started with a moment of foolishness. A moment where the rational part of your brain said, "This is a terrible idea." And something deeper in you said, "Let's go anyway." The hero's journey and the fool's journey are the same journey. Both require you to leave what is safe. Both require you to face the thing you most fear. Both require you to return changed, carrying something that can heal the people around you. The only difference is the hero knows he's on a quest. The fool just starts walking. There is one final form of the fool that history rarely talks about, and it may be the most radical of all. In the Russian Orthodox tradition, there existed a type of holy person known as the Eurodivi, the holy fool. They lived in poverty, rejected all status, wandered without possessions, and said whatever they believed to be spiritually true, regardless of whether it was welcome, polite, or safe. They were, by any conventional measure, completely unmanageable. Kings feared them. Institutions couldn't contain them. You couldn't bribe them because they wanted nothing. You couldn't threaten them because they had already given everything up. The holy fool was the freest human being in the room, precisely because he had stopped trying to appear anything other than what he was. That is the deepest teaching of the fool archetype. The most dangerous, most powerful, most alive version of a human being is the one who has stopped performing. So here we are, you watching a video on the internet about a jester who's been dead for centuries. And maybe something in you recognized him. The part of you that still wants to ask the obvious question nobody else will ask. The part that laughs at the wrong moment. The part that cares about things most people find impractical. Beauty, meaning, wonder, connection. That part, that is your fool. Dostoevsky wrote, "The wisest of all is he who can, if only once a month, call himself a fool." Not as self-deprecation, as honesty, as the courage to admit you don't have all the answers, as the willingness to begin again. The fool is not a warning about naivety. The fool is an invitation. An invitation to stop performing so hard. To ask the question you've been afraid to ask. To take the first step of a journey you can't fully see the end of. To be, for once, genuinely yourself, even if that looks a little ridiculous from the outside. Jung wrote, "The soul demands your folly, not your wisdom." Your soul isn't asking you to have everything figured out. It's asking you to walk to the edge, pick up the white rose,